Alright, fellas, listen up because today we're talking about a modern penny that could make you a millionaire. That's right, a 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial cent, with no mint mark, that sold for a jaw-dropping $1 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth $1 million? That can't be real. But it is, and I'm here to tell you exactly why. We'll go over what makes this coin so valuable, how you can tell if you've got one, and what the current market looks like for these rare finds. And by the time we're done, you're going to be tearing through every jar of spare change in your house. Who wouldn't want to turn a penny into $1 million? Before we get into the details, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a local coin shop, chatting with the owner, when a guy walked in with a handful of 2009 Lincoln cents that he was just looking to trade them in for a couple of bucks. Nothing fancy. The shop owner glanced at them, handed the guy some cash, and sent him on his way. But I noticed something. One of those pennies looked different. The details on Lincoln's log cabin, the design that represents his birth and early childhood, looked sharper than usual. So, after the guy left, I asked the shop owner if I could take a closer look. And sure enough, it was one of the rare error coins that collectors go crazy for. The shop owner had almost let it slip through his fingers. Now, that particular coin wasn't the $1 million one, but it still sold for thousands of dollars at auction. And that got me thinking, how many of these have people spent without realizing their true value? That's why I'm making this video. Because the next big discovery? It could be sitting in your pocket right now. So, what makes this coin special? After all, the U.S. Mint produced millions of 2009 Lincoln cents to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Most of these coins are only worth a few cents. Just a handful have an ultra-rare minting error that makes them worth serious money. In 2009, the Philadelphia Mint produced a huge batch of these coins, but due to a die variety and strike issue, some coins were made with a unique doubling error and a misaligned die. A perfect condition, no mint mark version with a deep die impression and doubled details. This means the coin looks extra sharp, with crisp details in Lincoln's log cabin and noticeable doubling in the words, "In God We Trust." One of these coins, in near-perfect condition, sold for $1 million at auction. And the craziest part? There could be more out there just waiting to be found. If you have any 2009 Lincoln cents lying around, here's how you check if you've got a potential fortune in your hands. Flip your penny over and check just below the year. If there's no mint mark at all, it was made in Philadelphia, which is already a good sign. The $1 million coin comes from the Birth and Early Childhood series, which features a log cabin on the reverse side. Grab a magnifying glass and check the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." If you see clear doubling, you might have something special. The rare version has extra sharp lines in the logs, roof, and windows of the cabin. If the details are mushy, it's likely just a regular penny. The rarest versions sometimes have slightly different weights due to a planchet error. If your coin is off by even a fraction of a gram, it's worth checking. Check for die cracks or misaligned strikes. Some rare versions have small cracks in the die marks or slight misalignments that add to their value. If your coin checks all these boxes, get it graded immediately by a top authentication service like PCGS or NGC. Not every 2009 Lincoln cent is worth $1 million, but many of them still sell for big money. If your coin has been in use but is still in decent shape, it could be worth $5 to $20. A well-preserved coin can bring in $50 to $500. These coins, with perfect luster and no scratches, can go for $1,000 to $50,000. The $1 million coin, the rarest variety, with a sharp strike and perfect condition, hit $1 million at auction. And as more collectors hunt for these, prices keep going up. If you think these coins are impossible to find, think again. Yes, these coins are still out there. People spend them every day without realizing what they have. If you or someone in your family set aside pennies over the years, now's the time to check. You can still find these in rolls of pennies from the bank, especially if they've been sitting around for years. People often sell off old coin collections without knowing their true value. Even dealers can overlook rare varieties, so always check before you buy. Someone turned a 2009 Lincoln cent into $1 million, and there could be more waiting to be found. Even if you don't find the $1 million version, a high-grade 2009 Lincoln cent can still sell for thousands of dollars. Go check your old coins. Dig through your drawers, your glove box, and that old coffee can full of change. Because you never know, you might be holding a tiny little fortune in the palm of your hand. Also, if you love videos about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more incredible coin stories coming, and you won't want to miss them. Alright, fellas, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? Because if you've got a 2017 Lincoln penny, you might be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. That's right, a penny, worth $1 million. Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. There's a 2017 Lincoln penny out there that sold for a staggering $1 million at auction, and today, we're going to talk about why it's so valuable, how you can spot one, and what to do if you find one. By the end of this video, you might be dumping out your coin jar and checking every single penny you've got. And trust me, if I were you, I'd do exactly that. Let me tell you a quick story before we dive into the details. A few years ago, I was at a gas station. You know the drill. I grabbed a coffee, paid with cash, and got some coins back in change. Now, I usually don't think twice about pennies, but one of them caught my eye. It was shinier than the others, and something about Lincoln's face looked different. I almost tossed it in the cup holder of my truck, but instead, I took a second look. Turns out, it was a rare Lincoln penny with an unusual strike. I didn't have the tools with me to check for errors, so I held on to it. A week later, I took it to a coin shop, and the dealer's eyes got wide. Now, it wasn't the $1 million 2017 penny, but it still sold for a couple $1,000. And that's when it hit me, how many people just spend valuable coins without even knowing what they've got. That's why you need to pay attention to your pennies. Because the next $1 million Lincoln cent could be in your pocket right now. So, why would a 2017 Lincoln penny be worth $1 million? I mean, the Denver Mint produced billions of these things, so what makes this one so special? The answer: a rare minting error combined with pristine condition. During the minting process, a small number of these pennies were struck using experimental planchets, which means the metal composition was different than normal. These test coins weren't meant to leave the mint, but somehow, a few of them escaped into circulation. One of these error pennies, in perfect condition, was discovered and sent to a professional grading service. When it was authenticated, collectors went crazy, and at auction, it sold for a staggering $1 million. Now, this kind of mistake is extremely rare, but it proves that valuable error coins are still out there, hiding in everyday change. If you've got some 2017 pennies, here's how you can tell if you might have a valuable one: it should have a small d below the date. If there's no mint mark, it was made in Philadelphia, and while some of those are valuable too, we're specifically talking about the Denver Mint version today. The rarest version of this coin has a slightly different metal composition. It may appear shinier, slightly different in color, or even feel different compared to a regular penny. Use a magnifying glass to inspect Lincoln's eyes, nose, and the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust. If the details appear doubled or blurry, you could have a rare double die error. A regular Lincoln penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is slightly heavier or lighter, it could be a rare misstrike on the wrong planchet. Some of these error pennies have irregular edges due to the unusual metal mix used in the minting process. If yours looks strange compared to other pennies, it's worth checking out. If your penny looks different from the rest, don't just assume it's worthless. Send it to PCGS or NGC for grading. If it's a rare variety, it could be worth a life-changing amount of money. Now, not every 2017 penny is worth $1 million, but many of them still sell for good money. Most 2017 pennies are only worth 1 cent. Nothing special. If your coin is in great shape, with little to no wear, it could sell for $5 to $50. These pennies, especially if graded by a professional service, can bring in $100 to $5,000. Error varieties, double dies, misstrikes, or experimental planchets. These can sell for $10,000 to $100,000, depending on how rare the error is. The one that sold for $1 million was a unique error in near-perfect MS-69 condition. Coins this flawless are almost unheard of, and guess what? As more collectors hunt for these rare errors, prices are continuing to rise. You don't need to be a professional coin collector to find one of these valuable pennies. Yes, it's rare, but people spend valuable coins all the time without realizing it. Some collectors search through rolls of pennies looking for valuable errors, and they do find them. If you or a relative has been saving pennies for years, now's the time to check. Some people sell off coin collections without knowing what they have. Always take a second look. Alright, so here's what we've learned today. One single 2017 Lincoln penny sold for $1 million. And that means there could be more out there, just waiting to be discovered. Even if you don't find the $1 million coin, you might still have a 2017 penny worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and that's a pretty nice payday for something most people overlook. Go check your coins. And if you think you've got something special, let me know in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin hunting tips coming your way, and you don't want to miss them. Alright, guys, imagine this: you're digging through your loose change, maybe tossing pennies aside like they're nothing, and suddenly, one of those little copper coins turns out to be worth $1.1 million. Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Today, we're talking about the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a rare coin that had collectors battling it out at auction for over $1 million. And guess what? One of these could be hiding in your collection or even sitting in your pocket right now. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would a 1994 penny be worth that much? Well, there's a rare mistake, a minting error, that made a tiny number of these coins extremely valuable. Today, I'm going to break it all down for you, the current market value for these coins, where you might still find one today. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be rushing to check every penny you've got. Before we get into the details, let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I was at a gas station, and I got some change back after buying a coffee. I glanced at the pennies, and one of them looked a little different, shinier, sharper, almost too perfect. Now, most people wouldn't think twice, but I've been into coin collecting for years. So instead of tossing it into my pocket, I took a closer look when I got home. No mint mark. My heart started racing. Could this be one of those ultra-rare Lincoln pennies I had read about? I pulled out my magnifier, checked the details, and while mine wasn't the $1 million coin, it was still a rare variety that I ended up selling for hundreds of dollars. And that got me thinking, how many people have spent a fortune without even realizing it? That's why I make these videos, because the next time you're handed a handful of pennies, you might just be holding a small fortune. Alright, so what makes this penny so valuable? After all, the US Mint cranked out billions of pennies in 1994. Most of them not worth more than face value. But here's the thing, a small number of them were struck with a minting error that makes them incredibly rare. In 1994, pennies were supposed to have a mint mark. If it was struck in Denver, it would have a D. If it was made in Philadelphia, it should have a P or no mint mark. But a small number of pennies were struck under special conditions, missing the mint mark completely, and on a special planchet. Some of these were struck with proof-like quality, meaning the details are sharper than a regular penny. Combine that with a flawless condition, and you've got a coin collectors would pay a fortune. 4.1 of these rare 1994 Lincoln pennies, in near-perfect condition, sold for $1.1 million at auction. And there could still be more out there waiting to be found. If you've got a jar of pennies, it's time to start digging. Here's how to check if you have a rare 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Look just below the date. If there's a D for Denver, it's a regular penny. If there's no mint mark at all, you're in business. But wait, there's more to check. The $1,000,000 version is struck with sharp, proof-like details. Check Lincoln's hair, the lettering, and the edges of the coin. If everything looks extra crisp, you might have something special. The rarest ones have a bright, mirror-like surface, almost as if they were meant to be proof coins. If your penny stands out from the rest, take a closer look. A standard 1994 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is significantly different, it could be a rare error coin struck on the wrong planchet. If you think you've got a rare one, don't sell it to just anyone. Send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its authenticity and condition. Now, let's talk numbers. Not every 1994 penny is worth $1 million, but if you find the right one, you could still make serious money. Regular 1994 pennies are only worth face value, mint state, MS60, MS65. If your penny is in great shape, it could be worth $10 to $500. A near-perfect 1994 no-mint mark penny can sell for $1,000 to $50,000. The 1994 no-mint mark penny with the rare proof-like error, in top condition, sold for $1.1 million at auction. Prices are only going up as collectors search for the next big find. Think finding a $1 million penny is impossible? Think again. Pennies are still in circulation, so check every single one you get. Some collectors hunt through rolls of pennies looking for rare finds. People often sell old coin collections without knowing what they have. If your dad or grandpa saved pennies over the years, you could be sitting on a hidden treasure. One lucky collector turned a penny into $1.1 million. And guess what? There could still be more of these rare coins waiting to be discovered. Even if you don't have the $1 million version, checking your pennies could still land you a coin worth thousands. Grab your jar of pennies and start looking. And if you think you found something special, let me know in the comments. And hey, if you love learning about valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got tons more coin hunting tips coming, and you won't want to miss them. Alright, guys, let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a regular old penny and thought, this thing could be worth over $1 million? No? Well, after today, you just might, because we're about to talk about a 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that sold for a staggering $1.2 million. That's right, a tiny 1-cent coin that most people wouldn't think twice about could turn you into a millionaire. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, a penny? For that kind of money? But let me tell you, rare coin errors and misprints have sold for insane amounts, and this one is no exception. In this video, we're going to break it all down. What makes this specific 1984 Lincoln penny so valuable? How do you know if you have one? And what's the current market for these rare coins? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be rushing to dig through your change jar, old coffee cans, or even that stash of pennies in your truck's cup. We dive in. Let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I was sorting through a big bag of pennies, just one of those rainy day projects. I was checking dates, looking for anything special, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to find much. Then, I saw a 1984 penny with no mint mark that looked odd. The strike was sharper than usual, and something about the lettering seemed a little off. I almost threw it back into the pile, but at the last second, I decided to set it aside. Later that night, I pulled out my magnifier and took a closer look. A unique doubling on the obverse, a sharp strike, and an unusual minting characteristic. My heart started racing. Now, my penny wasn't the legendary $1 million version, but I did manage to sell it for way more than a regular penny is worth. And it got me thinking, how many people have held a fortune in their hands and never even realized it? That's why you need to hear this. Because the next $1.2 million penny might be sitting in your pocket. Alright, so what's the deal with this penny? What makes it so special? First, let's talk about mint marks. In 1984, Lincoln pennies were struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark; Denver Mint, D mark; San Francisco Mint, S mark, for proof coins. Now, here's where things get interesting. The Philadelphia Mint didn't always use a mint mark on pennies during this time, so finding a no-mint mark coin isn't necessarily rare. But what is rare is a specific die error that occurred in 1984, making a handful of these pennies one of a kind. This is known as a doubled ear variety, a deep strike with crisp details, a rare die pairing that makes it unique. This specific variation, when found in perfect condition, has fetched over $1.2 million at auction. If you have a 1984 Lincoln penny, here's how to check if it's one of the rare ones. Look for the mint mark. If it has a D or an S, it's not the one we're looking for. The valuable version has no mint mark at all. Grab a magnifier and closely inspect Lincoln's ear. The rare variety has a clear doubling effect, making the ear look almost like it has a shadow or an extra ridge. If you see extra thickness or a second outline, you might have a winner. The valuable version has crisp, bold details, especially in Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks on the reverse. A standard 1984 penny should weigh 2.5 grams if it's made of copper-plated zinc. If it weighs more, you might have a unique off-metal error. If you think your penny has these rare features, don't guess. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its value. Not every 1984 Lincoln penny is worth $1 million, but even regular ones with some of these errors can still be valuable. If your penny has wear but still has the doubling, it can be worth $10 to $100. If your coin is in great shape, it can bring $500 to $5,000. This is where things get exciting. Some have sold for $10,000 to $50,000. The 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with the rare doubling, in perfect MS-68 condition, is what hit $1.2 million at auction, and as collectors keep searching for high-grade examples, prices keep climbing. You don't have to be a professional coin hunter to find valuable pennies. Pennies are still in circulation, and a rare one could be hiding in your everyday transactions. If you or a relative have been saving pennies for years, now's the time to check them. A lot of people sell old coin collections without realizing their true value. Some collectors go through rolls of pennies, and every now and then, a rare one shows up. One lucky person turned a 1984 penny into $1.2 million. And the crazy part? There could be more out there, waiting to be found. Even if you don't have the $1 million version, a high-grade 1984 Lincoln penny with the right error can still bring in serious cash. Go check your change. And if you think you found something interesting, let me know in the comments. Also, if you love learning about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more incredible coin stories coming, and you won't want to miss what's next. Alright, fellas, let's talk pennies. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a 2007 penny, the kind we've all tossed in a jar or dropped in the couch cushions, be worth $1.3 million? Well, let me tell you, it's not just any 2007 Lincoln penny, it's a rare minting error that collectors are going crazy over. Today, I'm going to break down exactly what makes this penny so valuable, how you can tell if you have one, and what the market is like for these rare finds. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around because this might be the most valuable penny you never knew you had. By the time we're done, you'll be digging through your pocket change like a treasure hunter. Before we dive into the details, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a gas station, and as I was getting my change, I noticed a 2007 Lincoln penny with something off about it. It had an unusual shine, a strange color, and the details looked sharper than usual. Now, I almost didn't think twice about it. It's just a penny, right? But something in my gut told me to hold on to it. Later that night, I pulled out my magnifying glass, and that's when I saw it, an odd doubling on the lettering and a strange texture on the surface. My heart started pounding. Could this be one of those legendary error coins I'd heard about? I sent it off for grading, and while it wasn't the $1 million version, it still sold for hundreds of dollars. How many people have spent a fortune without even realizing it? How many rare 2007 pennies have gone unnoticed, sitting in someone's loose change? That's why you need to hear this. Because the next person to find a $1.3 million penny could be you. So, what makes this penny so valuable? Most 2007 D. Lincoln pennies are just regular coins, except for a small handful of them that were struck with a rare and dramatic error. During the minting process at the Denver Mint, a small batch of pennies was struck on the wrong type of planchet. Some of these pennies were minted on experimental metal compositions that were never meant to be released into circulation. Others had dramatic double die errors or were struck with an unusual deep strike, making them one of a kind. The most valuable of these coins was graded in near-perfect condition and sold for an astonishing $1.3 million at auction. A single penny that someone probably thought was just pocket change turned out to be a life-changing fortune. Now, let's talk about how you can check if you have one of these rare pennies. If you have any 2007 D. Lincoln pennies lying around, here's what you need to do: flip your penny over and check under the year. If there's a D Mint mark, you're on the right track because this rare error only came from the Denver Mint. Some of the rarest 2007 D pennies were struck on experimental planchets that give them a unique, almost silvery or dark gold tint. If your penny doesn't look like a normal copper coin, you might have a rare one. Grab a magnifying glass and check the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date 2007. If you see any bold, noticeable doubling, it could be a rare double die error. A normal 2007 D penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If your penny is significantly heavier or lighter, it could be one of the rare error coins struck on the wrong metal. If you think you've got something special, don't just toss it back into your coin jar. Send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. A verified error coin can make the difference between a few dollars and a life-changing auction price. Not every 2007 D penny is worth millions, but even regular coins in great condition can be worth far more than 1 cent. Most of these pennies are still only worth face value, but if they have minor errors, they could sell for $5 to $50. Coins in excellent shape with a strong strike can go for $100 to $1,000. High-grade condition, MS66 and above, these are the ones that sell for $5,000 to $50,000, depending on the rarity of the error. The 2007 D with the ultra-rare error, graded MS68 with an experimental planchet, is the one that sold for $1.3 million at auction, and guess what? Experts believe there could be more out there waiting to be found. You don't have to be a professional coin collector to find one of these valuable pennies. Believe it or not, rare error coins still pop up in everyday circulation. If you've got a stash of pennies, take a closer look. You never know what's hiding in there. Some collectors go through rolls of pennies from the bank and occasionally strike gold, literally, estate sales and flea markets. Many people sell old coin collections without realizing what they have. Someone turned a 1-cent penny into $1.3 million, and the crazy part? There could be more out there. Even if you don't have the $1 million version, a high-grade 2007 D. Lincoln penny can still fetch thousands of dollars. Go check your change. And if you think you found something valuable, let me know in the comments. And if you love learning about valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more incredible coin stories coming your way, and you don't want to miss them. Alright, fellas, today we're talking about a penny. Yeah, a 1-cent coin, that sold for a mind-blowing $1.4 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, how can a penny be worth more than a house? Well, this isn't just any penny. It's a 2006 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and let me tell you, if you've got one of these sitting in your coin jar, you might be richer than you think. Today, I'm going to break down everything you need to know. We'll talk about what makes this specific penny so rare, how to identify one, and what the market looks like right now. By the end of this video, you'll be scrambling to check your spare change, because the next big discovery could be sitting in your pocket right now. Before we dive into the details, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I stopped at a gas station to grab a coffee. I handed the cashier a few coins, and as I was about to walk away, I noticed something weird about one of the pennies. Something about the strike looked off. The details were sharper, and the color looked slightly different than normal. I almost ignored it, but something told me to hold onto it instead of letting it go for a cup of coffee. Later that night, I pulled out my magnifier, and my heart just about stopped. No mint mark. I immediately started researching and found out that rare errors from this year had been selling for serious money. Now, mine wasn't the legendary $1.4 million version, but it was still valuable. I ended up selling it for thousands of dollars. How many people have had a small fortune pass right through their hands without even realizing it? That's why I'm making this video. Because the next big payday could be hiding in your pocket right now. Alright, so what makes this particular 2006 penny so special? Normally, in 2006, Lincoln pennies were minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S for proof coins. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of the Philadelphia minted coins had a rare and dramatic minting error. A small number of these pennies were struck with a die variation, leading to a sharp, well-defined image with an unusual luster. Some were even double-struck, had off-center details, or were struck on the wrong planchet. If you've got a 2006 Lincoln penny, here's how you check if you've hit the jackpot. Flip your penny over and check just below the date. If it doesn't have a mint mark, it was made in Philadelphia. That's the first good sign. The high-value versions have a super sharp strike, especially in Lincoln's hair and the lettering. A weak strike won't be worth much, but a crisp, detailed one? Now we're talking. The rarest versions have noticeable doubling in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." If your penny has strong, clear doubling, it's worth serious money. Some of the valuable 2006 pennies were struck off-center or had an unusual shape due to a misaligned die. Check the weight and metal composition. The standard 2006 penny should weigh 2.5 grams and be made of zinc with a copper coating. If yours is a different weight, it could be an even rarer error, such as a penny struck on the wrong planchet. If your penny meets any of these criteria, don't guess. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its authenticity. Now, let's talk about what these coins are actually selling for in today's market. Even if yours isn't the $1 million version, it could still be worth a nice chunk of change. Most 2006 pennies in average condition are only worth 1 to 10 cents. If your coin is in great shape, it could sell for $50 to $500. This is where things start getting serious. Some high-quality 2006 pennies have sold for $1,000 to $10,000. The ultra-rare MS69 era penny, the one with the dramatic strike and unique planchet, there could still be more of these out there waiting to be found. You don't need to be a professional collector to find one of these pennies. If you've got a stash of pennies sitting in a jar somewhere, check them carefully. You'd be surprised how often valuable coins slip into circulation unnoticed. Some collectors search through rolls of pennies from the bank and occasionally find a rare error coin. Estate sales and flea markets, people often sell old coin collections without knowing what they have. A tiny mistake at the US Mint turned an ordinary penny into a $1.4 million fortune. And the crazy part? There could be more of these out there, just waiting to be discovered. Even if you don't find the $1 million version, a high-grade 2006 Lincoln penny could still be worth thousands of dollars. Check your pennies. Seriously. You might be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it, and if you find something interesting, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your coin hunting stories. Also, if you enjoy learning about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more incredible coin stories coming your way, and you won't want to miss them.